Hello everyone! Today we're going to be making this adorable card. My inspiration for this card is actually the display cases for glasses when you go into something like Lens Crafters or into your doctor's office. It actually turned out to look a little more like a shadow box, but it's a card, so I can't really change that too much. But this is what we're going to make. This is using the Assortment 4 single stamp, the SPEC-Tacular stamp right here. It looks like this. Cute. Love it. Okay, and I as usual, I did a lot of prep, and I'm talking a lot. I think it took me about 2 hours to just prep for this card. I'm going to try and break it down pretty easily for you. It's a sort of labor-intensive card. There are a lot of steps, and it's not the easiest card you're going to make, but when you do it, you're just going to be so pleased, and I'm hoping that I can walk you through the steps fairly easily. Fingers crossed. Okay, so to start off, I stamped the image down on a piece of Whisper White cardstock that measures 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Okay, so I stamped it down using StazOn ink, jet black StazOn ink, and then I actually just colored in a few of the glasses using some Stampin' Write markers. So to show you what I did, I'm going to try and show you on this. This pair right here, I used the Island Indigo Stampin' Write marker, and I just colored it in, stamped it down on a piece of, just a scrap piece of Whisper White cardstock, and I fussy cut it out using a pair of scissors. This pair right here, I colored in using the early Espresso Stampin' Write marker, and again, fussy cut it out using my scissors. Then this pair right here, which I think is the most unique pair in the stamp, I used the Cherry Cobbler Stampin' Write marker, colored that in, and again cut that out. And then I just took them and popped them up on dimensionals. Okay, so you can kind of see them. I just popped them up on dimensionals and adhered them to the image itself. Okay? This pair goes right here. Cute? Perfect. Alright, so now here comes some of the most labor-intensive things that you're going to have to do with this card. You're going to take a piece of early Espresso cardstock, and this is cut at 4 1/4 by 8 1/2 and scored. You're going to make 2 score lines for the binding for the center, for the fold, because what you're going to want to do is fold it like this. I don't know how well you guys can, there, oh, I had it, like that, so it'll kind of, it's almost like a book, and it allows for the center of this, so you see how that pops out like that, to make it look like the case or a shadow box. So you're going to score it at 4 1/8 and 4 3/8. Okay? Alright, you can barely see it, but there are some score lines all over. Alright, I have to look. Okay, so these score lines are all 3/4 of an inch in from both sides. I'm sorry I have to be so wide angle, but in order to do this, it just has to be this way. Alright, so you're going to line, I'm using this side as my measuring portion of my cutter. Alright, so you're going to line your card up at the 3/4 of an inch mark right here. And you can do it from this side, it depends on which is easiest for you. And then you're just going to take your scoring blade, and you're going to go down 3/4 of an inch, and you're going to use this ruler as a guide for that part. So you'll go down 3/4 of an inch, and you'll make a score line, and you're going to end it at 3 1/2 inches. Okay, then you're going to go into the inch mark, so another 1/4 of an inch, and you're going to go again from 3/4 of an inch down to 3 1/2 inches down. Okay, so you'll make 2 score lines there. Now this is where actually you can use this side of it to line things up. So here you'll go the 5-inch line right here, and you're going to do the same. 3/4 of an inches down to 3.5 inches. Take it into 5¼ inches lined up right here, and again 3/4 of an inches down to 3.5 inches. Okay, then you're going to flip your card and do 3/4 of an inch here again along here. And basically, since you've already made the score lines, you can just take your little point from your score blade, make it line up with your score lines, and then go all the way down again. So do that, move it in to the inch mark, and do the same. Okay, and then here, you're going to line it up to the inch right here, and do the same. And then you're going to move it to the 3/4 inch mark right here. Alright, so then you're going to take your cutting blade, and you're just going to do a little crisscross thing. You're going to go from one point to the next of your score line. So you're going to do a cut line that's going to meet from point to point, and you'll use your cutting blade to do that, like that. And then you're going to flip it and do it on the opposite side from one point down to the next, so that you've got that. You see how that works? What you're going to do is you're going to take your inner score line and you're going to fold in towards your body. You're going to fold these little triangles towards your body. And then you're going to take your outer score line and you're going to fold them out away from your body. When you get done doing that, is something that'll look like that. So you've got sort of a little box, makeshift box, to hold your spectacles piece. Okay, ta-da! How cute is that? So then it'll look like this. You're going to tuck your little spectacle piece, and it's going to be a little tight, but it should fit. If not, you can trim it down a little bit, but it should fit all right. It shouldn't be too big. I've pretty much measured it the way it should be. See, how cute is that? Too cute, right? Okay, so the next piece that you're going to need is a piece of window sheet, and this is cut at 3 3/8 by 3 3/8. You're just going to put some adhesive on outer portion of the base to hold that window sheet. And then you're going to fit your window sheet on that, like that. Cute. Alright, so this is a piece of Crumb Cake cardstock, and it's cut at 4 1/8 by 4. Okay, and what you're going to do is, again, you're going to cut 3 1/4 inches in on each side. So just sort of giving you an idea of how I did it. Again, I set it up to the 3 1/4 inch line again right here, and then I just took my cutting blade and went from 3/4 of an inch to 3 1/4. So 3/4 of an inch down to 3 1/4. Okay, and then you would flip it around, and because you'll have the points from the score or from the cut lines that you made here and here, you can just follow that, lining it up to 3 1/4 or 3/4 of an inch here again. So you can just follow those lines and cut from point down to point, and then do the same here again, lining it up at 3/4 of an inch and cut from cut point to cut point, and then you'll just pop out the center of it. So you're going to take your wood grain textured impressions embossing folder and put your piece in, and you're going to send it through your Big Shot. I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. You're just going to put some adhesive on the back of this. Now you're going to want to take your 4 1/8 inch, and that's the part that will go across the top of your the body of your card. Alright, so that's on there. So now we're going to take a piece of early espresso and make a little window out of it. And this piece needs to be 3, and I know this sounds like 3 1/8, but it's actually 3 2/16 because on your typical ruler you have 1/16 of an inch, you have 1/16 of an inch, and you have 1/8 of an inch. So the little smaller marks on your ruler are 1/16 of an inch. And what you want to do is cut this at 3 2/16, and then this is 3 1/16. Then what you're going to do is cut all around it 1/4 of an inch in. So again, so you'll take it at 1/8, and on this, it's this little mark right here. So you'll take it at 1/4 of an inch in on both sides and 1/4 of an inch down. And you'll do that all the way around all 4 sides. And you're going to want to take the 3 2/16 length side, and that's going to be up towards the top of your, it's going to be along the top of your card. Alright, and you're just going to put a little bit of glue all around that frame. Alright, so then it looks like that. So I typed out, have a ... then spectacular day, ! And this is in 14 font, and this is in 18 font. I typed it out and I printed it out on regular printer paper, and then I cut them out using the word window punch. And I actually then cut or punched 2 more pieces of word window punch out of some Whisper white cardstock, and I backed these pieces up using the Whisper white cardstock. So you can't really tell, but that's what I did. And then I just sponged it with Crumb Cake ink, and I used the modern label punch, which looks like that, and I punched out 2 pieces of the first edition DSP, and then I punched out 2 pieces of early espresso cardstock, and I cut these 2 pieces of the early espresso cardstock in half. So back up. Then I took some adhesive and I ran it across the back of the first edition modern label pieces, and I just fit the pieces of the early espresso at the ends of it so that you would get kind of like a little shadow effect. And then I put some dimensionals on the back of those 2 typed pieces, those 2 printed pieces. Alright, then you're just going to run some adhesive on the back of these 2 pieces and adhere them to the front of your card. I'm going to adhere the Hava towards the top, left corner of the card, and the Spectacular Day towards the bottom. And that's all for the front. That's how that looks. And last but not least, you're going to take a piece of first edition DSP, and I've already shown you that I put this piece on here. This piece is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Some adhesive on the back of it. It looks like that. Okay, so I haven't done anything on the inside. I'll figure that out another time. Finally, what you'll do is you'll fold at both those score lines, and there you have it. Sits up like that, and that's the card for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's labor intensive, but it really is a great feeling once it's done. And until next time, happy stamping!